Hello, this is Understanding Elon Musk, and I did some research for my book. At first I was looking at spy things. And if you have looked at all the spy movies there are, or television series, you get a little bit bored. And so I was looking at, strolling all over internet, what to look next for, and I found this strange thing, because I come from Europe, I'm from the Netherlands, I live in Japan, I know English. So I was looking around and I saw this a strange series about Borgen. It is a Denmark series about politicians, about Greenland, about some issue with America and Russia and China. It was a nice series. So after that I was looking up to more series from Denmark and from Sweden, and I just looked at like the database of all movies and television series, and I'm now looking at all kinds of movies from that area, from Sweden and Denmark. BBC is sending them out, and also from Netflix there are a lot of them translated with English. And if you look at those series now, and even a little bit older, the women are a little bit different. They are acting totally different, more free than we are even used in Europe, and it will be more astonishing for Asian people to see how, and maybe also Americans, how women in those countries act, and they are more feminine, but also not feminine. So it's very interesting to look at. I'm looking now at The Bridges, in a police series about a murder that somebody should cut in two on a bridge between Sweden and Denmark. And there are two detectives, a man and a woman, and you see the cultural clash between those two, even those two neighbor countries. But also you see totally different personalities. The man is a family man. The female is a standalone, high intelligence, very strange girl. And they team up and they make a very nice team, and they have to solve for this serial killer. So I advise you look at The Bridge. It's a series of I think 4 or 5 seasons. Police series from Denmark. It is sponsored by ZDF, Germany, Sweden, broadcasted from England, I even think. So I think you can find it, and it is a very interesting series. But you know, I'm writing the book now for AI, and I'm doing research for this. Now I'm stopped because I'm doing now the scientific books, but I just want to make this talk about a little bit about writing books and stories. And what I found out is you have to have a special order of making stories. So you have to first write a book about your whole setting. So you can imagine if you are like the writer of Harry Potter, you have to describe the whole castle, the school, the history of the school, the people in the school, the teachers, the students, the environment of the house, of the main person. So you have to write a document or a whole chart, and I think those people that write those series, I think they have a room hanged out full with character designs and with stories about all the things, about the country, the landscape and the environment, so that if they go in that room, they are in that world that they described in the book, and then they can write the book, and they know the characters, they look around, they see all this character, all this information that in that virtual of that imaginary world, and it's easier to write. And this is also the environment I am making now for my book, because I think this is a secret for writing these kinds of fantasy books, especially if you want to make a series of books. So that was my idea, and I first made now a document, and I do try to base everything on research. I changed the name, I do some games in the books with words and other things to make it more interesting, and give it an extra, like a red line in the book. There was with some hidden secrets or Easter eggs, and that will make the book more valuable. I'm using AI for. I write a plot. I write the whole story. I have dyslexia, so I cannot write very good. So I was never taught to write books, because my English and my Dutch and even my mother language Dutch is very bad, and German also. But with this AI, I just give a word. I can make spell errors. I don't even use to have the whole sentence, but just describe in some words a sentence, and in this sentence I can describe a plot, and it writes me the whole. And I asked the ChatGPT to write me a whole story with those words to make a story. So then I have this story. For me, easier to edit. So I edit. I rearrange what the output is. Regenerate it 4 or 5 times. Look what is the best pieces of it. Rearrange it, and then I have my first page or half a page that I can use. Then I continue. Also the trick is that you use summaries of these stories. So before you start rewriting your story, you load these summaries into the AI, so it knows the stories, you know a little bit about who's the brother, who's the sister, and not thinking about Mira and Nick are two lovers. No, they are brother and sister. So you have to explain it a little bit before you start to continue rewriting the story. And then if you start, I do the same thing. I make a new plot, a new scene, a new action piece, and it generates for me the story. I check it. If this is what I want, I change it. I add real data from real facts from with Bing, and if I have made it, I look for a page. If I have a page made, then I look at the most important thing in the page, the happening or the special thing, and I try to make from that piece of this text of that scene in the book, I try to make a sentence, and that sentence I put into image generator like Midjourney or Stable AI. I use DALL-E from Bing, and I generate a picture. So every page, almost every page, has a picture about a piece that is described on that page. So you have like a picture book. You have a book with pictures. For example, if the dog and the cat are chasing each other in the pool, I put that as a picture. I also try to use a little bit like the entrance of a club, if they go to a club, all kinds of things that are happening in the book, and that are no persons, because I don't want to use characters already, because I cannot generate always the same character for my generation of pictures. So I try to make like a graveyard. You don't see the persons there, or maybe from the back, or silhouettes, but you don't see I try to avoid showing the faces, or a little bit unclear the faces. But it is about the idea of so you have a little bit visual support when reading the book, and it is a nice spacing out of the texts and the chapters. So that is how I write a book. So I have a book. I write together with ChatGPT. It is very intensive because the front study is big, and I still have to rewrite and check my the plot and how the story is going, the red lines of the stories, and the different parts the story can develop, and also developing new characters, deepening out characters, correcting the characters. So I have to do that continuously at the moment. But I think in a year or half a year they are all fixed, the places are fixed, and it will become easier and easier. I hope then that I can maybe generate pictures with the same characters, so I can make the characters of my book in different places. Also maybe the same car they are using, so I have the same car, the same house, the same persons, and I can put them in different situations. But I hope that is possible in the near future, in a year or something. And maybe the next step is that you can even make with these pictures and with the story I wrote, maybe a short movie, and then I can maybe publish that on YouTube or something, that the people can look at the story. So you never know, maybe this will first start with a book, and then it starts with a pictures book that I already try to make, and maybe it will end up with a self-made movie from AI. So that is my idea of making now this book. I've seen a lot of stories about people writing books. There are of course famous actors, but I look at a different way. I know what is the background of stories. This is the hero story, the hero travel. You can see that in the Bible and other religion literature. You can see it in like even Star Wars. It's also based on the Bible. You have a hero, a underdog, climbs up to his father. All kinds of things that are repeating. Even the stories in some religions, like the Big Flood, you find it back in the different religion books. So there are stories that are repeating. So if you want to do something, you have to have those elements of those old stories in your story, or you have to maybe reuse those ideas, because these stories are values of humans. Maybe at AI it has to it learns you values. So for example, my first series chapters is about friendship. So what is the importance of friendship? who are your friends? Not everybody is your friends. Not everybody will be your friends. What is friends? What is family? So this whole idea of friendship and missing of friendship and relationships, that is my first thing that I will. That is the secret word of my series. Some people, writers, write every chapter of their book with the thought of this book is about the revenge of somebody. For example, his wife is killed, and this guy goes on a rampage and wants to kill all the mafia, all these bad guys. And what you write on your book everywhere on your wall is revenge. Everything he does has to be about taking revenge on what happened to his wife. So the whole story is built on that idea. Even if he meets something, maybe he wants to protect her, but the revenge of his wife is more important than the life of whatever. So, and this is also, if you write a book, my book is now about this boy that is going after school and he has no friends, and he tries to find, okay, if I get to work, do I have friends? How important is friends? He is adopted, so there's also a friendship relationship, or is it a family? His sister is also adopted, so there's a friendship, or there's an interaction there between his adopted sister, his mother, that is not his stepmother, and his real mother. So they have all these friendships and relationships, and that is also secret relationships with other things there. It's all about relationships in the first season of the book. And so the first book is about friendship, and I think the next book will be about I think decisions, how important it is to make a decision. If you take a decision, you have to stick to your decision. A decision can change your life. So my next book is about the secret word that will be on my wall, or on my thought always will be decision making. How important is decision making? So and then so every book you write, or a chapter you write, I think you need a subject. For example, if you write a science fiction book, do aliens exist? So everything that a boy, for example, a boy in the future looking for UFOs, and then everything, can he prove that those aliens exist? So every time there is some interaction with aliens, or you see something strange, he tries to make a picture. So everything I think is about, can he prove the existence of aliens? So that if you have this theme in your head about try to find proof of this, or if you have like a detective series and you want to find the murderer, so then the question is who killed this person. And that's the whole series is about who is the killer of this person. You can also imagine if you have a series like multiple seasons about a serial killer. The red line of all those episodes of all those television series is about who is this killer. And sometimes what they do in a series at the end of the book or end of a chapter, you see this killer, or you see a hint to this the red line that's all through those chapters and all those all the episodes of the series, to build up a story into a story. So you link all those chapters or all those episodes of the series into one big story. So you have an underlying story, and of course the story of the characters and the other characters will develop also through the series and through the chapters. But they also have like multiple lines of development of of characters and the plots and etc. So this has to all be worked out before you write a book, because if you just write a book, after a while you say, oh my god, I wrote this house and this is the layout, oh my god, it is not good, this will not work, so you have to rearrange the house layout. But you write already 4 or 5 chapters, so you have to go back to those chapters and look how he's walking through the house, or what he is doing in the house, and if it is still correct with the architecture you made. So sometimes I also made the mistake that I didn't really make the architecture of the house, and now everybody has his own place. So the mother sleeps at the north side, the sister sleeps at the south side upstairs, downstairs is the kitchen, open kitchen, there is a living room, there's a hallway, there's a garage, and where they are and how you walk from one place to another place, I already decided on it, like in my head or on a paper, how it is. So if he hears something from the garage and he's upstairs with his sister, he walks downstairs through the living, to the hallway, to the garage. So this is the path he follows. and you can describe how he's walking and what he encounters, because you can imagine if he walks down to the living and there's TV is turned on, you can interrupt this path that he walks to the garage by something that he sees on television. If he walks through the hallway, from the stairs to the hallway to the garage, he will never see the television thing. So then you have to think, if he wants to be surprised by a message on television, how do you reroute his path to the living room? So all those things you have to think in the beginning of it. And so that is the idea. And I like to watch a lot of television series and other series, and I'm always keen on finding bugs or finding mistakes. Car is driving a smashed window, the next scene the smashed window is gone, in the next episode the car is totally not damaged at all. So that is not logical. Even I try with a bottle. The mother is drinking a bottle of vodka. She finds it in the fridge from her daughter. They're all Russian, so, and she puts it on the table. 2-3 pages later, somebody is in the kitchen and sees this bottle, takes it and makes a joke about it. This bottle is there because she puts it there. So you have to also track some objects, and you cannot track all objects, but most of the objects you will do, because you will. What I do is between chapters I will do like an ending. They are sleeping, or somebody is. I do a general thing. They are cleaning the house or doing this and this and this, and that's it. So also you have to. I don't tell them when they go to the toilet, but I will tell when they go to breakfast and when they go to work, the path they follow to work, what they are thinking about. So you can use the time that they're going to work or they travel, like thoughts, or you can do flashbacks to the old days to deepen out some of the characters' description. So there are the chances to do. You don't do it like in the middle of a story. He's thinking about what happened to his mother 10 years ago. You do that when he's traveling home from a hard day of work. He falls asleep and he thinks of his mother, what happened 10 years ago. That's much more logical. So all those stories you have to build up. You have to build up also like parts of a developing story about the house, what happens to the house, what happens to his career as an engineer, what happens to the relationship with his sister, what happens to the mother, what happens with the estate. So all those have storylines, and all those storylines, those lines, you have to draw to all those episodes and all those chapters. And that is the trick of writing a good book that is really very interesting. And my wife also said, you can write a nice book, you start introducing the characters, etc., but it will be boring in the beginning. So she said also, do in the beginning some action or some big change that it starts. You see also maybe the first half of the series is a little bit dull, and then something happens, and then the series starts, and then it is at the end of the episode, of the end of the chapter, you have to be like, okay, I want to read the next chapter. Maybe not the first chapter, but at least at the second or third chapter, the people want to read the book till the end. If you cannot capture the audience after 3 chapters, it's not. It's same with the series. That is the most important thing. And a good series can capture people in 1 or 2. 1 is maybe too fast, but at least 2 or 3 episodes, the people must like it and want to see, okay, I will watch every week, or I want to follow this till the end. So this is my talk about my book. I will continue more, and I don't want to give away too much about writing a book. What we maybe can do as an exercise, we can maybe write a small story. I have to think. I was thinking about making a children's book about a dog and a professor that have all kinds of scientific adventures. So maybe I can use that book, that example, as an example of how to write a book with ChatGPT and other things, and I can show a little bit more how this is done. Maybe interesting for people that want to do something with writing books, or having a good story in their head and they want to tell it. I think that is maybe also nice with AI now. If you have a life experience or something, a good idea of a story, you think, why are not somebody making this book, or why we don't see this on television? I can maybe help you how to make a story and how to publish it, and how to get it out in the world, and maybe you earn some money with it. Maybe it will become a movie or a television series if it is really nice. And it is not that difficult. The old days you had to have special skills, you had to be very talented to write a book. I think these days with ChatGPT and this automated large language models, I think it's easier and easier for people to tell a story or to encapsulate some storytelling, and I think it will be easier and easier for anybody to do this. So this is my tutorial, the end, and I hope to see, maybe this is interesting to hear. See you.